Greetings, YouTube. So after this morning's video about the Growing Up Fundamentalist book, I need a bit of a unicorn chaser, so I thought I'd talk about some role-playing ideas I've had. Now, in the Dragonstar setting, which is essentially Dungeons & Dragons in space, it uses real-world physics, but magic breaks real-world physics. So unless magic is being used to circumvent real-world physics is the base for the universe. I like that idea. And I'd like to apply it to a science fiction setting as opposed to a science fantasy setting. Now, I like fairly hard science fiction with psionics. So, unless psionics is there to muck things up, the universe is going to run fairly physics-oriented. So I'm basing the next few ideas I'm going to discuss on some physics readings I've done in the past year and the game Stars Without Number, which is available for free, and I recommend going to look at my review of Stars Without Number. It's a really good game produced off of the OGL. It's a retro science fiction clone, and I think they did a really nice job, and I love what they did with the psionic system. 6 disciplines. Each discipline only has 9 powers, and you can acquire them as at-will, like spell-like abilities as you gain power. It's very cool. But they're very limited in scope because it's supposed to be kind of a retro clone. So most of the ranges for these things are short. Like teleportation, the best you can get is from planetary surface to an orbiting spacecraft. That's it. Telepathy may go to like a moon or something, but you're not going to be able to get a whole lot further. Well, I like this idea, but I want to change it a little. So, here's the science fiction premise. I want a universe where there is no faster than light travel. But I don't necessarily want everyone having to take 40 years to get to the closest star, which is 4.5 light years away. So I thought about it, and I read about the Higgs ocean, which is, if the theory holds true, what creates inertia. It impedes acceleration. So if that's true, and it may be true, what if you could create a shield around a vessel so that the area inside the shield would be immune to the Higgs ocean? So suddenly, whatever's inside that shield could accelerate from its essentially standstill motion in orbit around wherever it's in orbit around to the speed of light, or just shy the speed of light, instantaneously. So 0, to almost light speed, like that. Now, you don't want to go all the way to light speed. You can go all the way to light speed and you become light and you just keep going forever. So you want to go with some slight fraction below that so that you could get from, say, here to the nearest star, 4.5 light years away, in a fraction of a second to the people on board. So they push a button, boop, and as far as they're concerned, as soon as their finger left the button, they would be there, even though to us here on Earth, it would have taken them 4.5 years to get there. So suddenly, the stars to the people being colonists are next door. They're right there. So you could have this huge diaspora of all kinds of groups just shooting off into every direction to every star that they could find, laying claim to any planets that are out there. And there's research that there's a lot of planets out there. Earth-like, maybe even moons around gas giants that might be habitable, things like that. Not to mention the ship itself could be designed as an L5 station, something like that. But, in our terms, these people could be traveling for hundreds of thousands of years. Here comes the psionic part. So around the same time that these ships are all going in all directions, someone finds a reliable way of turning on the genetic trigger in some people that allows psionics to function. And you get the baseline psionic abilities from Stars Without Number. But they find out 3 things. Well, 4 technically. First is that if you want to teleport, you can only move 81 kilograms of weight. That's it. No one knows why it's 81 kilograms, but that's the amount you can move. So if you want to move yourself and you weigh more than 81 kilograms, you're not budging. You weigh less, and you can go a limited distance. like the game I mentioned, Stars Without Number. Now, the telekinetics can lift a lot more weight than that, so no one understands the discrepancy. 3 other things. You can't go in or out of a Higgs shield. So a Higgs shield will protect you from a psionic person getting into the Higgs shield or getting out of a Higgs shield. So you can't teleport through one, you can't read a mind through one, you can't move something through one, you can't remote view through one. It just doesn't work. Second thing, you can't move, you cannot teleport organic matter. You can move yourself and anything inside your body, but anything on the outside of your body you try to take with you will end up at the other end dead. On the upside, this means you're essentially sterile when you get there, which is kind of handy, but it means you can't teleport people, even if you could handle the weight limit. And the last thing is, you can't move electrical currents. So if you try to teleport this phone, even though it's not on and it just has a battery in it, you aren't budging. You can only move mechanical devices, which means that nomads, the teleporters, all have really wonderful mechanical watches as a symbol of their class, and they carry guns and knives. They don't carry energy weapons. Can't use them. Now, this confuses people, so they begin to research it. Why can't you get through a Higgs field? Why are teleporters unable to carry more weight than 81 kilograms? And yes, I picked that number at random out of the top of my head. And in that research, in trying to figure this out, they never do figure it out. But they make a major breakthrough. And 3 of the disciplines suddenly have no limit. Remote viewing, telepathy, and teleportation. One day, and they figure out how to open it up all the way. So now, even the most basic nomad can teleport 4.5 light years instantaneously. They can remote view at that distance. They can telepathically communicate at that distance. So all the colonists that have made their diaspora spread out into the universe, and they're getting to their planets they want to colonize, they arrive to find nomads waiting for them with an offer that they can't refuse. Hi, we'd like to set up a courier service. We can even let you telepathically communicate with people back home, though it's much more expensive. We can do some research for you and look at all the planets in here much more quickly than you can because of our remote viewers. What colony is going to say no? Once this catches on, the nomads also can be used to plant nanocolonies on the planets before the colonists arrive. So the nanocolonies are powered up from solar panels. They arrive without any power. The nomad opens up the solar panel. The solar panel provides electricity for the nanocolony. Boom. By the time the colonists get there, there's an entire city waiting for them. There are robots that have set up and grown all the food they need. So the colonists are arriving in a place that welcomes them as home. All provided for a fee, of course, from the Psionic League. And the Psionic League becomes very, very powerful. Now, they're not dumb. They know that people are going to be jealous about this fact. So one of the first things the Psionic League does is find a nice, comfy planet around 1 million light years away and set it up as the headquarters of the Psionic League. Now, only nomads can go there and back, so the psionics that stay there to breed, most of them, 5 out of the 6 different categories, can't ever leave. That's where they live. But they can remote view, they can telepathically communicate with people, so they are part and parcel and fully connected to the Psionic League network. And because it's a recessive gene, at least for the present, there are people who are not psionics born on this planet, and they're second-class citizens, because that's what humans do. So you have a world where things obey the physics, except where the psionics breaks those rules. So you could set campaigns in this setting where it's all in our solar system, in another solar system. You could have it your colonists. You could have it so that your group has some psionics, maybe the disciplines that are short range, or you could have an all long range psionics party. teleporters can move heavier objects by combining power. So two nomads could concentrate and send an object twice the weight of 81 kilograms. Three nomads do 3 times 81 kilograms. You get the point. Though it becomes more and more difficult to do this. The DC ratings rank up, basically, making it more difficult to achieve your goals. But this also means that anyone that doesn't have a Higgs shield to protect them is open to telepathy snooping and remote viewing snooping and teleportation penetration at any time. It really changes the dynamics of politics and war. You don't piss off the Psionic League. They can strand your colony out there without any support. They can cut off your information connection to the rest of the universe. They can assassinate people in ways that you will never understand what happened. They're dangerous and they're powerful, and they have a whole lot of control. So I'm basically putting forward the Psionic League as they're the good guys, they're the bad guys, they're the neutral guys, they're businessmen. They're out to make a buck, they're out to have power and control, and they like it. And then you have all the people who are the mundanes, the muggles. What did they do in this universe? And this is just a thought experiment I've come up with. I was bored at work and playing with a number of different ideas, and they finally all coalesced into what I'm presenting here now. And I'm calling the Higgs shield drive the Photon drive, because that's essentially what it turns your ship into light, so that you can get from point A to point B as quickly, or just slightly less quick, as light. So I'm interested in hearing what anyone has to say about this. Anyone who hears this is free to use any of these ideas I have presented. I put them out there for people to use at their leisure. But I'm always looking for comments and ideas that maybe I have missed or I haven't thought of. Thank you.